We've already done a survey of our staff, and staff, I think, have given us some pretty good ideas. But we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you, our members. And so with that in mind, I'd like to just turn it over to Mary.
Thanks, Dan. We really appreciate you guys coming, and I hope some more folks come in, but if not, I hope we can have a lively discussion. I just want to say, like Dan said, I think April being a national organization, my microphone connects to my phone and my computer. And so if somebody's calling me, it all of a sudden switches and I'm like, what's happening? So we just really want to make sure that it's useful and meaningful. And I know that there's not a ton of us right now, but I know we have Davina and Brandon and Amy as participants so far. I'm wondering if you guys, maybe if we could just kind of each go around and introduce ourselves. And we thought that maybe it'd be fun to just start with a little icebreaker. So I'm going to just take us really quick through each tab. And it's not anything like, what Martian would you be? It's we thought we would ask, what's one thing that you would change about the April website? So, whether it's something that you would make different or something that you would get rid of because it's just not useful, or if it's something that you wish we had and we don't have. I kind of thought that would be a neat way to just start the conversation out. But just as a refresher, I just kind of wanted to take you through quick what's currently here. And you know what? Actually, let's have staff do it too. I think that'll be fun, and that way we can kind of pepper the conversation. So right here we have our home page, and our home page again has our save the date at the top. On the right, it has our scrolling upcoming events with links to click to register for them. It has our save the date, and then it has who we are, our mission, statement on diversity, comment on solidarity, and then some quick hot links to some of the highlights of our work, such as peer support. And then we have our About Us page. And at the first click, we've got our membership map, and here's the accessible data to click on. We also have a map of our conference locations, and they can be expanded here for quick. Oh, somebody's stealing my password. Just kidding. And then we have on each of them a little bit more about us. So we have our board page. We've got our staff page, information about some different accessibility features that we have, our old annual reports, which are, here's a donate link. And then we have our advocacy broken down in each topic area, fragrance-free best practices, and we've got disaster and emergency preparedness on down the line here. We have our conferences, which include our archived conferences. We have our COVID information. So this includes, resources. So for example, here's some online remote working resources. Online trainings we did. Here's some vaccination information from different folks, like the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network. Here's our membership and our online membership renewal form here. And then this is a tab, it's just called News, and it's got job announcements that are out. It has some special memoriams like Linda Gonzalez, who was our first executive director, awards and recognitions. So this is about our Earl Weldon and Linda Gonzalez information. old photos, which I think is kind of a funny tab, but I'm curious to hear what you guys think. And videos. And then we've got our partners pages. These are partners that we contract with, like RTC Rural, Agribility, ILRU. Then we have our peer support page that talks about all our different peer support opportunities. We have our youth peer support meetings. We have our individualized peer support, Rural Conversation, and Youth Coordinator Connects. I'm already seeing, I'm like, we need to add our transition peer support series there. And then we have all of our archived trainings. So these are from the conferences and all of our online trainings. So you click in here for the recording. Oh, see, that one doesn't even work. Like, oh my gosh. Oh, Bill must be working on these. Rachel, we're gonna have to go through and click all these.
I know, I was just thinking that.
So
Mary, if you do you guys have
No.
Google Analytics in your site?
We do.
Because that should generate a list of broken links for you, so you don't have to manually go look for all of that.
Well, let's do that. And then here's our youth page. Okay. That was like so quick and dirty, but yes, I'm gonna make a comment. I'm gonna add that to our list to have Rachel and Bill go through and do that. But I guess in general, do you guys want me to keep the page held up or yeah, okay. So would you guys maybe want to start by just maybe introducing yourself and saying, you know, maybe what's one thing that you would recommend to change that would better, oh my gosh, where did my share button go? There we go. Okay.
Can we share one thing we like and one thing that we'd like to change?
I would like that. That'd be great. So one thing that you like that you want us to keep, and then one thing that you'd like us to change. I love that addition, Amy. Thank you.
Well, when I was looking at your site preparing for the meeting, there was something that just really stood out to me that I'm like, that looks really good. I like that a lot. And so I want to be able to share that.
Thanks. Yeah. Go ahead. Do you want to start?
Sure. So I'm Amy Robas. I'm the executive director for the Iowa Silk. And I'm also the NA Silk secretary. The first thing that I really liked when I came to your site is along the right-hand side, the column that has all of your upcoming events. It was really nice to just see that front and center, because a lot of times when I'm coming to April, I am looking for events that are going on or meetings that are going to be happening. And so having it right there, it was just very obvious and easy to find, and I liked it. The thing that I think needs changed right away is you need some youth appeal. This is a very accessible site, I suspect, but nothing on the front page speaks young to me. And so I don't know if that's the addition of some images of your youth from conferences, or if that is the addition of some social media, or what, maybe a little bit like updating your colors a little bit with the addition of something a little brighter to go with the blue and the red, or maybe adding even a second shade of blue that's a little bit brighter to emphasize that young energy, exciting kind of feeling, because this reads very calm to me and very mature. And so that was what I thought at first, because we all need youth in IL badly. And so I feel like that for April in particular should be front and center.
I love that. Can I ask a follow-up? Would you recommend do you have any websites that you might recommend that you would consider youthy that we could kind of look at for reference?
No, but I can send you a couple, because I'm
Okay.
actually getting quotes together for redoing our own website. And so I have been looking at a lot of examples to give for our own site. So I've seen things that when I saw them, I'm like, that just energizes me. And that speaks like excitement to me. And I feel like that's maybe what you need a little bit of, not overkill, but just something a little bit of excitement and fun. And yeah.
I
So I'll
love
send
that.
you some. Yeah.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Mhm.
And we're going to come back too, by the way. This is just kind of, I thought, a way that we could start the conversation. So I'm, Brandon, would you maybe want to go next?
Sure. I'm Brandon Brown. I'm the executive director at Empower Tennessee, the SIL in Nashville. And one of the things that I do like about the site is that it provides lots of information, right? So it's, you know, I'm not lacking for history or present or future, you know, amounts of data and information and things that I need to know about and can get some information about. That being said, I actually, I don't know if I disagree with what Amy said or if it's just the way it's presented, but the right-hand side is good that information is available, but in juxtaposition with all the other information that's on the homepage, it seems like a lot of words. That can get a little overwhelming and in some ways, I suppose, confusing.
Right.
And from a reader, I'm not sure how it reads from a screen reader standpoint, because, you know, a lot of times columns can be sometimes a bit difficult to navigate, but I can't speak to that specifically other than the fact it just looks busy. One of the things, just kind of a follow-up, that we do on our website, not that it's perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but we do a lot of tiles on our homepage. And so instead of I mean, it does have a header, but it has what they call a hamburger menu, where you can pull it down and it'll show you all the different things, but otherwise it has tiles for the different things that we have available. And you can pull that up on empowertennessee.org to see what that looks like. But, well, that's contact forms. But if you go to our homepage,
I don't know. Sorry.
for whatever reason, you can just click on the when you go back to our website, click on the logo. Oh, there you go. So
Okay.
if you scroll down, you see all the different tiles that we have. And each one of those takes you to different pieces, so it looks a little less busy. And then when you click on any one of those, it takes you to a more in-depth information about that particular thing. So if you go to like youth services or news and so it has different things that are like that. So and again, you don't have to you can take it for what it's worth. That's just something that we've gotten really positive feedback on, is a sense of that it's easy to navigate, and particularly for people who have issues with, maybe they just use a stylus or they use a finger or something to navigate a website, either on their phone or their iPad or a desktop or something like that. They just have to hit it. They don't have to click or, scroll around and click around a lot. So, and then we have lots of forms embedded into our website. If you want more information or you want to sign up for something, we have lots of forms that are embedded into our website.
Brandon, this is great. Thank you for sharing this. This is really, and I feel like, Amy, does this also feel youthy to you? It feels a little youthier?
I see. I think it is a preference thing, because I 100% agree about the touching, because I actually have issues with dexterity in my hands. But I feel like that's very overwhelming to me in terms of, like, there's a lot of visual stimulation going on. There's pictures and text overlaying on pictures. That for me is harder to process than the others. So I think that it really is going to be more of a just different things appeal or work better for different disabilities. I mean, because that actually ends up happening. However, if it were like maybe half the amount of boxes, I think it would work a lot better for me. It's just like that's like just a lot of boxes. I am curious though, Brandon, because again, I'm going through this with our site. How does that work with the image descriptions, you know, with the text over the, because I can't click it. Thanks, Mary.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, there is alt text on all pictures. And so I think it reads both the alt text of the, and this is where I am, it's way over my head. But I think it does both. It tells you what's in there, but it also tells you what the picture behind it is as well.
Sweet.
It does.
I know that that's a newer development, and I think it's called web or I don't remember. There's a new way that they can do it that didn't exist like 5 years ago. And I haven't really seen a lot of people using it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Can I ask one follow-up question for you, Brandon?
Of course.
Do you know what the builder is? What platform it's built in?
It's name one and I'll tell you if it's right or not.
WordPress?
It's WordPress with Elementor.
Great.
I really like the icons on there as well, because when you think of, again, meeting the needs of multiple disabilities, having icons that represent alongside the text is also, I feel like, kind of a best practice for anyone who is not able to read or who has a very low, level of reading comprehension. So I like that too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you both. And we'll come back. Let's see. Davina, would you mind? I don't know. Can you hear us, Davina? Oh no. Somebody is in a robot cave.
Yeah, Davina's on mute right now.
Okay. So, Susie, would you want to go? So right now we're just introducing ourselves and saying something we like about the April website and something that we would want to change.
Okay, let me give it a try. The things that overall, I think it's stunning. I'm so impressed. I can't find the right page now. I had some reflections on the parts about mental health, broadband in rural America, and the solidarity section. And now I'm wondering if I'm looking at the right sections.
Yeah, any of it. So are you looking at the advocacy or is it the trainings?
I didn't take enough notes to steer myself. There was one thought I had in mental health.
Okay.
And
just why don't you give it to me and we can find it.
Okay. It's that we have a line there about implementation of our support and delivery and increasing access and resources. And I'd like to add women to the list, and also LGBTQ people. And if we can't find it now, heaven knows.
Women.
There were some pieces about broadband in rural America, and I'd like to talk about those with somebody at some point. then in the solidarity section, lastly, is that there were comments about our supporting the Black Lives Matter positions against police brutality, and that I thought that was harsh. And the reason for that is that a lot of the cops get disabled in the line of duty or otherwise. They get shot, run over, whatever also. And there are a lot of officers of color. I don't know if it's especially here in Arizona, but it seems to me that it might be short-sighted for us to use precisely the language that we did in our comment on solidarity. I absolutely want us to support the Black Lives Matter positions, except I think we can be respectful toward the officers who are getting injured and disabled, as well as the officers of color. And God knows they're having a hard time right now.
Thanks, Susie. I think that that's great. You know, we can have, and this, I'll say this solidarity statement actually came out quite a while ago. And so, you know, that's something maybe it's time for the, you know, we're redoing our vision and our mission at April. So, you know, we could have our diversity committee relook at that as well.
Okay. Oh, Rachel has a note to make it clear that it's a systemic issue, not a personal issue. That makes sense.
Systemic.
To me. Yeah, but I want us to support elements within law enforcement that are working toward progressive reform. And that they learn from people of color in their communities and support their officers of color.
Great. Anything else you wanted to add? And I will come back, we'll come back to the broadband section. I might even, what I'll do is when I find it, I might send it to you and see if you have words that you've already wordsmithed it. I think that would be really helpful if you could give us some language that you had.
That would be great. Mostly what it boils down to is broadband is really great for a lot of people. And if it's imposed on people with severe electronic and Wi-Fi sensitivities, that means that we have to move again. And I don't know where you move at. I mean, we're out in the middle of the desert right now, and I don't know where to go next. So I want that language modified a little bit. So I'd really like to see.
And Susie, I did want to tell you this. I don't know if you saw right at the top of our advocacy information. This is because of a lot of the advocacy your group has been doing. We have an entire section on fragrance-free best practices now.
Wow.
So that was a lot of advocacy that you and a lot of your group members joining our peer meetings, and we've been collecting information. So now that's right in our advocacy work.
Okay, thank you so much.
Awesome. So I see we've also had a couple other people join us. Melly, hi. Melly, so right now, oh, go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say, Davina is back once Melly is completed, but
awesome.
Let you know Davina is back online with us. So
sweet. So we're just going around for this first part and just introducing ourselves and saying something that you like or would like to keep about the April website, and then right off the bat, something that you would change, whether it's getting rid of it because it's not necessary, or something that you would make different, or add because it's missing it.
Okay. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, I missed my turn. I guess we had some connectivity issues, but I'm here. My name is Davina Patterson. I'm the Executive Director of DRN, which is located in Huntsville, and I'm also a member at large board member of April. And after reviewing the website, looks like more photos, maybe some photos, more diversity, diverse photos of LGBTQ, racial, sexual orientation, disability. That would be great as an update. I don't know if it has a members only section, but that would be a nice feature to add to it. And I like that the website is accessible. And it looks like it just needs a little bit more color or brightness, more vibe to it. So that's all I have to add. Thank you.
I love it. Thanks, Davina. And if you have any thoughts, what we'd love is if you even have an example of a website, like we were able to pull up Empower Tennessee, and I'm adding it to my list, Brandon, because I love the visuality of it. If you have any websites that you would recommend that might have more vibe or better diversity in it, we'd love to take those as well so that we can use them for reference. Oh, thanks, Melly. Awesome. And then Melly.
Hi, everyone. I'll see if my camera wants to work. Here I am, such as I am. I've been sick for about a week now, so it's not pretty, but here we are. So I'm Melly Santora, and I'm a council member at Arizona Statewide Independent Living Council, and also the secretary of the April Board of Directors. And I would just say that the website has changed and has improved since I've been associated with April, and also in recent years. And I think the thing that I do like about the website is also sort of a thing that's kind of got that double edge to it. I really like that there's a lot of information, but I really find it's a little overwhelming the way that it's presented. So I agree with some of the comments. Excuse me. I knew it was coming. I agree with some of the comments about maybe like needing to break it up with some different color schemes and some diverse photos and that sort of thing. I think that that would go a long way. I think because of our colors are, you know, pretty much red, white, blue, and black, like there's like, it's hard to match those colors. I don't know what America was thinking when they picked out their flag. Because it is really, you know, there's not a lot that complements that scheme. But I think, you know, there may be some ways to kind of interject some things in there. And I think for me, I just want to say kudos that we finally got a board portal on the back end of our website. That took a lot of work, and to my fellow committee members, and also to the employees who made that happen. I think that is so fantastic. But the two areas I think need more information really are the membership section and the peer support section. I think that those are two of the really critical things that we do. And I think it's just, I don't know that I would be enticed to become a member if I went to the website and just, it just doesn't, like, maybe some testimonials or, you know, some way to sort of beef that up would be great. And I also think peer support since the beginning of time has been such a huge part of what April does, and what April does so well, that I just feel like the nuts and bolts are there, but I feel like it would be great to maybe tell that story a little bit more. So those are the things that really sort of jump out to me.
I love that. Thank you for that information. I think you're right. I will say, I will agree with that. I think our website is super text heavy, and it's funny because we used to have more photos, but then they were like so outdated, and it's like so and then there's the this is the other part you're talking about, the membership one. I know this one is not even like, one thing I've noticed is that it's like not consistent formatting throughout.
That's so funny that you say that, Mary. This is Melly again. I even have a hard time when the deeper red is used in some places and then that bright red, like I can't, like I sort of can't get past it in my mind. And for those who don't know, I am a person who has traumatic brain injury. And so some of that is just the way that my brain computes information. But I feel like if that's true for me, it's probably true for others as well.
I love this. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody playing our little icebreaker game, but now I'd love to just hear, even staff are welcome to share if you want. But if folks on the call, Brandon, Amy, Susie, Davina, Melly, just what other thoughts do you have for us? And I will tell you this: we know it needs work, so we've got some thick skin. We're happy to hear it, and we just appreciate you taking time out of your day to share it. Yeah, Melly, your hand
Yeah,
raised?
I just had one other thing that I didn't want to forget to mention. I love that we now have sort of had the meet the board kind of fleshed out a little bit. I would love to see that ring true for the employees too. I'd like to learn a little more about the employees other than seeing their lovely faces and their titles and stuff.
Well, I have to say, Melly, this is Dan. I found that very helpful myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Great.
Although I got to say, I don't know where you get some of these photos. Looking at the photo you have up there right now, I just wonder where these came from. But that's
High
just me.
school.
Great. What else? Take us to anywhere. Yeah, Susie.
Seems to me that a really important thing in my life lately has been the status of people who are new to the country, who are immigrants, legal immigrants, as well as undocumented immigrants. And I don't have an idea where to stick that on the website. It seems to me like the labor force in rural areas includes a lot of people from different countries, with all degrees of legality and not. And they're right. You know what I mean?
I wonder if that's something in the advocacy section that could be helpful.
I don't even have a suggestion about how to write it.
So we'll just make a comment and move forward. How about we don't have to solve all the world's problems today. It's just brainstorm some.
We don't have to.
No. Brandon, did you have a thought? I saw like a light bulb go off on your face.
Well, I think, not necessarily about that particular issue, but one of the things that I think is really important is that there in the advocacy section, there are several different subsections, and some of them are very fleshed out and some of them not so much. Right. And I also think that the ones that are very fleshed out are very resource heavy. And so I don't know if there's a way to, so like if you look at housing, it's a really good example, right? So there's a lot of things about resources, and then it just keeps kind of going on, and a lot of links and a lot of resources. And so the question is how does that all fit in with the advocacy side of that? Right. So we know that, they are part and parcel of the same thing, but I think some people might get, again, from my viewpoint, a little overwhelmed by here's information. Well, what do I do with it? How do I activate around that? How do I make this usable in my community? And so I wonder if there's a way to maybe, separate out a little bit more of the advocacy from the resources. And I'm not exactly sure how you would do that, or if that's even the best way to do it, but it just seems, again, it just seems like a lot. And then you look at, and if you'll click on the advocacy tab once again, go to like the farm bill. See, there's 2 paragraphs, right? And so is it because the farm bill is less important? Is it because it's not as much known about it? Is it because what? I mean, it's just one of those examples of like, you know, how much is too much and how much is not enough.
And then here's the nursing home transition, which is the same kind of overwhelming. Yeah.
Right. So, and some of this is, you know, goes back to 2020. And, you know, again, that's really important because we were hot and heavy into the pandemic at that point. So, what of it is still relevant? What of it is a little outdated? What of it needs to be put up as, you know, updated to some degree? Is there a new statement that needs to come out around these particular issues? Because one thing about advocacy is that it can get stale really quick. If there's not something new, or even if it's just a new statement that says, you know, we recognize these are the new things that have come out even in the last week or last month or the last year that renews our efforts towards whatever that thing is. And so, and I know that's a lot to ask for a really small staff and whoever your you know, ongoing web developer is, to keep things as fresh as possible. I know that's something we have a problem with, but to at least maybe do an annual audit of your website or a quarterly audit or whatever seems feasible for the people who are working on it. But to have an audit of the site itself to say, okay, what's relevant, what needs to be gotten rid of, what needs to be changed. Like, and I'm not sure you need 6 years worth of conference information. That seems like a lot. You can move that into archives. You can move that into, you know, your training section of different things that have been made available over the course of time. But I don't need to see 6 years worth of, you know, training or of conference information.
7 now. Yeah,
Can
I
don't.
agree. Yeah, that's a great. Go
Can
ahead,
I
Amy.
add to what Brandon was saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think that maybe if you flagged like in some way like hot issues, because you'll send out emails and you're like, this is going on right now, you need to get involved. If you could maybe have that somehow like in one of those boxes or a couple of boxes with a bright color behind them at the top of that page, and, you know, and then keep the relevant ones that are still ongoing under it, and then maybe have an archive that people can link into for past, you know, issues that you've addressed, just for those history buffs or people who are curious. But the other thing I noticed is you're using acronyms in here without defining them, like HCBS. And for a new advocate, they might have no idea what that is. And so maybe even just, you know, first of all, making sure you explain what the acronym is, but maybe also explain of 1 or 2 sentences about why people should be looking at HCBS and why it's important, and then go into the advocacy issues around it. Because again, people come in at all different levels on their advocacy journey, and you might pick up some new people if they know what HCBS is and why it's important. And then the other thing I wanted to point out is that, I guess it's 2 things. Some of your links are correct. Some of your links are not compliant. So when you spell out the link and you paste the link as it is, HTTPS, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, a screen reader will read all of that, and it sounds awful. It should instead just be, say something like that, you know.
County. Yeah.
Yep. And so you kind of are going back and forth on this in the site, probably depending on who's adding them at what point in time as to how they're done. But that is, you know, important because it is a compliance issue. But also with the, I think, are you using Accessibility? You're using, I'm not sure which one you're using, but Accessibility is one of them, your little website dude in the corner. Yeah, those are great.
Userway.
Okay, they're great. I am very concerned they are not doing what they say they are. It's, to me, it's the same as using AI captioning versus CART. And so while they offer a lot of features that are great for users with and without disabilities, right? I would not rely on that for compliance reasons. And I've seen a lot of us in IL doing it, but I just keep coming back to CART and AI. And so this is basically trying to put a little bit of code over the top of your real code and hopefully it's fixing a problem that is there. And so I just want to, but it doesn't work necessarily. And so I just want people to understand that it's a useful tool, but don't think that that automatically is going to fix compliance. So when you go into a contract with somebody, make sure that they are aware of, what it means to have an accessible site and are familiar with the law. And the good news is WordPress is generally a really good tool that is compliant. So as long as your developer truly understands what that means, you're in good shape. But I know that we had somebody do our site before I was here who had a disability. And so they said that they knew what they were doing. No, just be careful. Don't learn from our mistakes, please. So that was all.
Oh, this is so great. Thank you. And I love all this information. What else? I mean, we're getting towards the last 10 minutes. I want to hear all of it. All these thoughts are so helpful, especially since we're just kind of in this beginning phase. I think, I mean, look at, do you guys think that we can, I'm going to, this is going to be coercive, I think. Like, this news button, I'm just thinking there's things on our website that I don't even really know myself, and I work here, why they're here. Have you ever gone to the news website? Oh, go ahead.
I feel like your main menu bar up there, it should be your highlights, the really important stuff. So like donate, why is donate not up there? You want people to come to your site and find that donation option right away, or volunteer. But if you could kind of streamline that and narrow it down, because I think there's too many. I mean, do they come to your site for news, or do you want to focus on what they should be coming for? But I agree with everybody else who's been talking about maybe reorganizing some of the information and recategorizing it, because I agree, you have a lot of great stuff, but a lot of it I think is getting lost just because the way to get there is a little wonky.
I think that's a great point. I'm wondering, does anybody have any thoughts on maybe sites that organize information really well? I like, here's the Empower Tennessee for those who joined later. I think this is a great way of organizing a lot of info. I know I know that they're redoing their website right now too, so I can pick on them a little bit, but I know this is the issue ILRU has too. It's I spend hours helping people find information on ILRU. So so I know it's just not us, but I'm wondering if anybody has thoughts on, like this trainings piece, I think is something that, and the advocacy piece, which I think you're right, Brandon, I think some of that doesn't even belong there anymore. I wonder how can we organize training information to be useful and usable? I'm wondering if anybody has thoughts.
Could it be done by like educational resources or issues of significance, or something where you can learn about what the issue is, why it's important, and then how to advocate all in one spot? I don't know if that makes sense to other people, but to me, it's kind of like step 1, step 2, now here's step 3, let's advocate.
That makes perfect sense.
This is Melly. I also think like sort of a generic menu button, more like services, where there's a whole bunch of things under it, might also be useful. So that if you click on the services page, you see all the services that April provides.
Mary, I'd like to just put a quick question out there. How often do you come up to the April website? Those of you who are on today's call. Say once a week? Once a month?
When I'm
Leslie?
trying to find something that you guys are hosting that I want to go to is pretty much when I come.
That's what you come to the site for? Okay.
Yeah, because I look at my newsletters, but then when I'm done, I usually delete them. And then a lot of times I'll go, oh, hey, I saw this on the newsletter. I don't remember. I deleted it. And I go to the website and there I am.
Okay. How about you, Susie? How often do you come? What do each of you come up to the site for? What
It's-
draws you to the site?
I like to see the schedules of meetings, and I really rely on parts like the advocacy piece. So I
Mhm.
want to see, who am I sending my $25 to? What are they
Mhm.
supporting? Who are our
Mhm.
colleagues? That matters
Okay.
to me a lot.
Good. That's helpful.
Brandon?
Yeah, so I like my newsletter that comes to me on a regular basis. So that's where I engage the most digitally with April. But if I'm coming to the website, it's either to find out more about the conference,
Yeah,
renew my membership, which I just did, and if there's something particular that was in the newsletter that I want to follow up with about, an advocacy piece, as Susie was saying, that I want to get some more in-depth information, then I might come to that. But mostly it's because of the conference or membership. Everything else is just kind of playing around and, oh, I didn't know that, or let me find out more about that, or who is on the board at April nowadays, and those kind of things. So that's kind of my engagement.
That's interesting. So the newsletter content you see in the newsletter will draw you to the website.
Yes.
Okay.
This is all so great. Anybody else, Davina or Millie?
This is Melly. I would say it's about the same for me. If there's a reason to go to the website, I go, but I think I rely on the listserv kind of emails, more. And of course, being on the board, I would hope I'm more in touch with some of the things too. But I think the schedule and, that sort of stuff, I mean, that's the place where, you can get it. So I think all of that's really important. I'm just going to be honest. I avoid going to the website unless I need to, because it's just too much for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We needed to hear that, Melly.
Can I ask, what's missing? Like, what would make you come more?
Less.
Less is more, huh?
Less,
is more.
less is more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Brandon.
Really quick, I just want to also say that I also engage with you via social media, right?
Mhm.
So I see the posts you put out on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. I don't know if you're on Twitter, but I mean, I see the things that you're engaged in there, and I like them, and I'm like, oh, that's good to know. I'm glad you made that statement. I'm glad you're letting me know about this training. I'm, because. And you talk about youth now, Facebook is an old person's thing, apparently,
Mhm.
but, Instagram's a big thing. TikTok's a big thing. Of course, there's all the politics around that.
Mhm.
Discord
Is a huge thing for youth right now. And so finding a way to integrate what you're doing on social media, which I think is pretty robust for, again, a relatively small organization with a national push. I think finding a way to integrate that would be beneficial.
Yeah, and there's tools, especially in WordPress, that you can, have your Twitter feed pop up on your website
Mhm.
without doing, automatically whenever you tweet. That would be really easy. And I think that, again, yeah, they tie right into that youth bit. And what I was thinking was similar to Brandon. I wasn't thinking I go to these other things, but I was thinking that interactive component
Mhm.
some would be what would drive me to this site. And I was kind of working through in my head, what is that? Is that like a forum of some kind? Like I can talk with other advocates at April, or like what would be interactive on your site? But if you're talking about a draw, it's something interactive to me. I just don't know what that is.
I think that's a great point, Amy. That's something, honestly, we've been toying with for a while. Melly talked about the membership piece needing to be fleshed out more. We've been toying with how can we incorporate some more interaction between members. Whether it's incorporating a like SharePoint site or some other opportunity for people to connect, where Brandon can just, rather than shooting Amy an email, can just post on a message board, does anybody have, remote work policies? And then people can just upload them or, something like that. I don't know. It's something we've just been throwing around spaghetti.
Well, and I think that's where you can also, Dan talked a lot about in the beginning is like, so why is membership important? Well, if you make membership kind of an exclusivity thing where, organizations and or individuals can only share or get information based on your membership status, then having that kind of thing available where it is peer support in a digital format or access to information in a digital format. I mean, Dan, you remember when we did SECTA here in the Southeast, and it was all about when we got together and we had in-person peer support and we shared information. But at the end of the day, we were all emailing each other when we got back home. Well, give me this policy, give me that policy, give me what you did about that. Let's talk about this. Whereas if you had, as a membership organization, member exclusive access to shared information like policies and procedures and bylaws or whatever it is, I think that there may be a drive towards people being not only members but being willing to engage as members in that. That's just something to think about.
Yes, Susie.
Okay, I'll try to be real quick. I would appreciate a paragraph early on the website that says something like, please don't quote me, that gets across the idea that we know that the independent living centers in the US and movement to a degree are somewhat split between the big centers in either urban areas or that are organized early on, and they're the ones who apply for the 300,000 a year package. And then there's still this other echelon of us who live way out in the sticks or have the wrong disabilities and can't get included, and are still at the stage of sleeping on each other's sofas instead of really going to big conferences and things like that. And that there are these tiers or castes within the IL movement structurally built in now. It's disconcerting to me. And it looks to me like April is sort of where the sleeping on each other's sofas people kind of fit.
I like that. And I think Amy said some comments in the chat too, just that we're saving, just talking about how that's what sets us apart is really that relationship piece. The building the relationships, connecting with people, building friendships. I like that. And I think, really tying into that.
And is there a way to discuss things like, okay, so we're extremely dispersed. What kind of satellites might prove workable for those of us who live really far from centers?
Yeah, so connecting in. Go ahead, Dan.
There was a, one thing I hear from staff quite often, when describing April, I hear the word family used quite a bit. And I've heard that from some board members. And so that may be your experience. I hope it has been your experience with April, but is that reflected on our website? Do you get that sense looking at our website that April is quote a family, or at least, how many of our staff and I'm sure many of our members perceive April? Does that come across? And Amy, I see you
No, this is Melly. I don't think it does. And I think maybe that's what I was trying to get to when I was saying, we need to tell the story a little bit more about, membership and peer support. Like, yeah, I don't think that part comes across. And I think that's our sweet sauce. And like to have the website be so heavy on content and like wordy, I think you lose that feeling. Like to me, like April is a feeling to me more than it is anything else. Like there's no place like April for me. And I don't get that from our website at all.
I feel like our website or the April website is trying to be in line with the other IL organizations like ILRU and ACL and just like a very clean, professional looking site. But I agree. I feel like April is a warm hug. I don't know if anyone ever did. I don't remember what it was called anyway. I think it was called Snowball. It was like an anti-drinking organization for youth. And we would get these yarn balls and you'd pull out the yarn and you'd go tie it on somebody's yarn on their necklace. And it was like a way of like connecting and saying, I support you and I value you. And I think of April like that, like you are a grassroots advocate with a bunch of other grassroots advocates, and you're in this awesome experience together. And that it's so different from Sills and Silks and ILRU. It's that warm hug, and that does not come through on the website, but it'd be amazing if it did.
Well, I think there's a way to do both and, right? So, it's because it is a professional organization and it is a national, it has a national push and standing. And so you want it to be something that people can recognize and feel like, okay, this is somebody we want to take seriously. This is something that they do have a united voice for independent living. This is something that's really important. So that's for the public at large. And I think for membership to know that, we have standing. I think the other side of that is to also say, those of us who are members, we know and feel like family at April. We do have that sense of what it is. And so I think there's, there needs to be a way to find how to do both and, right? So how do we present ourselves as a professional withstanding organization, but also have that feel? And I really appreciate, I think what Melly said is like, it's a feeling to me. And so I think, warmer colors or, less words, more pictures, those kind of things that are more engaging, I think will be of value. So doing both of those things, I think can be really valuable.
So Brandon, you think?
Agree.
Yeah, I'm wondering, Brandon, and we've gone over the time and, but feel free if you do have to leave to leave, but Brandon, I wonder if some more of that, I guess, that sort of, the hug, right? That Amy brought up, or the feeling that that Melly had brought up. I wonder if we could put more of that into the member section. That might be the place for us to really emphasize that.
I think that would be a place to do that for sure. And I think, again, I keep using the word exclusive, and I don't mean that pejoratively, because we're not exclusive. We're not segregating, ourselves from that. But I think there also has to be a value to membership. And because if you're paying your dues and other people don't, but the people who don't get the same information for the people who do, then it makes membership not worthy. So, and at the end of the day, April is also a business that has to sustain its viability from a fiduciary responsibility. And so, but I agree with you from that viewpoint, is that I think the membership place can be, as I said, a place for peer support, a place for sharing information and ideas and things of that nature. And so, but it feels like like you have a whole thing about, here's the pictures from the conference from 2000 in wherever that was. And if people have those, and you can post pictures and be like, this is what we used to be, and this is what we were, and this is look how much we've grown, and those kind of things. You can do all those kind of things while still maintaining that professional organization. So I'd like to see something of that ilk.
Right.
Like a history portion,
Maybe. Yeah.
I just wanted to, oh, go ahead. Sorry, one moment. I just wanted to let Monica, you can go ahead and go if you need to. I apologize. I realize we're over time. And I can switch to AI here. I just wanted, okay. Go ahead, Brandon.
Oh, that's okay. And I feel like I'm talking a lot, and I probably shouldn't, but
no, I love it. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a history thing, we do have people with seasoned experience and people with history, institutional and personal history, that they can valuably contribute to this. And so I think having a history section, again, that's part of a member section, I think can really help teach those of us who haven't been in IL all of our careers. Oh, well, this is who Linda Gonzalez was. This is what her, so it's more than just a name and an award. It's a person that we can value as part of our history and as part of our future. Talking a lot, obviously, about, people like Judy Heumann. It was amazing to me after her passing, and a lot of us were at Silk Congress when that happened, is that there were people who actually asked me, who was that? Who is Judy Heumann? I was like nearly floored. But the things that people did know and the things that people don't know. And again, I didn't grow up in the IL world. And so there's so much that I'm still learning in the last 8-9 years that I still don't understand or know, and people with history can provide. At the same time, while young people of my generation of IL, and the people who are younger than I am, who can contribute to our history as well. And I think that's part of being a family. I think that's part of being supported from a peer standpoint. And I think that we all have an opportunity to contribute in that familial, very empathic and, touchy-feely kind of way. And so I'll be quiet now. Sorry.
No, this is
good.
Such a great info. I'm getting chills. I'm like, this is exactly what we're needing here. Again, I just appreciate you all taking time to be a part of this. I think these are really great suggestions. My brain is wheeling right now. I think that this is a lot of info that we can incorporate. Is there anything else that you can think of to add in this?
I just wanted to say, I don't think you guys should change your logo. I hope you're not tempted to, because I feel like it's so clear. It's so easy to identify. It's been around a long time, and I don't know. I feel like there's other things you can do that could liven things up or update it a little bit without actually having to do an outright change. I don't know how other people feel about it, but a lot of times I'm all for logo changes, but I really like yours. I don't know what other people think.
Thanks for that feedback, Amy.
I also was thinking maybe more videos. Do you guys feel like videos are overrated? Or I mean, even like short videos of like maybe the staff introducing themselves, like us each doing like 3 sentences about like why we love April, or I don't know if that's something you would even watch, or what are your thoughts?
This is Melly. I think I love videos as long as they're accessible in every way.
And short.
Yeah, I was going to say, stick with that short TikTok formula, because that is a hook, and it will draw people in, and you don't have to dance, but that length is just seems to be really ideal for a lot of people.
Right. Don't take the 3-minute TikTok approach either. I think TikTok got a little it kind of lost some of its flavor from the original intent when it started going to 3 minutes. And like, oh, you're boring me now. Yeah, I mean, if you want to engage with people, make it short, sweet, to the point, and relevant.
Mhm.
And fun. You know, I
Yeah.
wrote something in there about ASL and singing and dance. Yeah, that is so popular right now. People are finally realizing that people who sign sing. And it's just, you know, you guys have done it for a long time. It's always been one of my favorite parts at the conference when the guitar comes out and people sign and it's sing, and it's great. Take a clip from stuff like that. It's popular right now on top of timeless.
Mhm. Well, and that kind of content too, we could use across different platforms, website and other social media. Yeah. We got some really good comments on here, Mary, on the chat. So
Yeah. I'm copying and pasting all the chat comments and sticking them in this document too. Again, I want to be respectful. If anybody needs to leave, please feel free to hop out. I just appreciate this. If anybody has websites that you would like to share with us, please feel free to submit those to me. Or if you just come up with an idea at any point in time. You know, we want to be relevant. We want you guys to come to our website and not feel overwhelmed. We want you to feel like you're getting warm fuzzies and big hugs. And I think also the information you need. You know, if you have ideas also on ways that we can better support members. So like, you know, what is something that, you know, you would like to get from April as a member? And it could be in the website or elsewhere. You know, Sierra and I have been even toying with the idea of doing things like, you know, what if we offered office hours, you know, so you could, on the 4th, you know, Tuesday of the month, you could meet with Sierra and Abby if you have questions about engaging youth. You know, make an appointment to do an office hour with them, you know, or if you've got questions about, you know, whatever, you know, if you want to talk about building a hybrid event that's accessible, you can set up a time to meet with me. We've just been toying, like, what are some other ways that you can get to know April staff? You know, we can support our members. So if you have any ideas along those lines as well, please feel free to send them along.
Can I just throw one out?
Mm-hmm.
So socialization is still a huge struggle for a lot of people with disabilities. And so I think if you want to do something interactive, do an hour of, you know, either coffee or drinks or whatever with staff, and plan a virtual game or a bunch of different icebreakers for people just to have fun without any serious anything going on. That's part of the fun of the conferences too, is you get to engage on all different levels. And we make a point of continuing the education piece outside of the conference. But what are we doing to do the relationship building outside of that? It kind of fizzles till the next.
Mm-hmm.
Mary, I
like
see
that.
where Arius has joined us.
That's fine. He just actually messaged me. He said, sorry, he ran late. He will just come to the one tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
That's great. Thanks, Arias. Well, why don't we go ahead and close this out? I think we've got so much great information. Again, thank you guys so much for coming. And I know that you're super busy and we just really appreciate you. And I'm going to swoop up any information you're willing to give me. So please keep sending it. We're, I think Dan might have mentioned this, but we're just in the beginning phase. I think that, to be honest, I think this could probably be a complete redo. You know, maybe right now we're using Joomla, which is a very outdated platform, which is why it looks kind of outdated. So if we're gonna, you know, if we end up taking the leap and going to a whole new platform, then that just really opens up possibilities for us to just do all these things we're talking about. So thank you again, and please submit any and all ideas if you come up with some more. I don't know. Dan, did you have anything else you
Well, I
wanted
was
to add?
going to say, Mary, I think maybe after the call tomorrow, we could put together a summary and send it out to those who participated on these calls.
I love that.
So
And
they
on
get some feedback.
Yes, that would be great. So we'll do a summary and send it out to you for feedback, and we'll make sure to get a list of your names too. So if you're not individual members, you are now. So that's
So,
Mary,
and if,
Can I
Yeah.
donate mine to somebody who, or can we start something for people who can't
Sure.
afford it? Because, so many people cannot afford when they're living on disability to purchase a membership, but I'd like them to have access to membership. So can I start that? Can I say, hey,
think
can you
so.
donate mine to somebody in need?
Can you don't donate mine also? This is Melly.
Yeah, I think we can do
Yeah.
that. I think maybe we could, and Brandon's thumbs upping. Yeah,
okay.
him too.
Do
Go
y'all
ahead.
have somebody in mind? Y'all
I
have
don't know
somebody in mind?
anybody, but
Oh,
I like
okay.
the idea of like, hey, does anyone want to apply for a scholarship for
Mhm.
April? We've had some people who have donated memberships and then, or something,
Okay,
whatever.
okay. We'll put them into a pool and,
And particularly young people, if they're,
Yeah.
I'd love to donate mine to somebody young
yeah.
who's looking to be.
And if
part
you have any ideas, any.
I have a young person in
Yeah.
mind for mine, Dan. This is Melly.
Okay, okay, great.
Cool. Yeah, Melly, if you just want to send us their name and their email address, we can make that happen.
Will do. Thank you.
Great. Thank you guys so much. What a great
Thank you.
idea. I love that. All right. We'll be in touch.
All right.
Thanks all.
Okay.
Everybody. Thank
See y'all
you.
later.
See you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Have a good evening.
You
Woo.
too.
I'm gonna save the chat too, just in case I missed anything.
Okay. So Mary, I thought we had a very productive meeting.
That was a good conversation, don't you think? Yeah.
Yeah. Where I see this headed, I see us having to engage somebody who does this for a living.
I'm thinking that we're going to, have to do a complete rebuild. That's what I would prefer. And what
Mhm.
I'm thinking is if we have somebody like a Rachel or somebody, what I could see is somebody doing a rebuild, but then they maybe train like Rachel.
Yeah.
The
How to update it. And,
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. How to add new photos and to
Exactly.
really do all the updates to keep
Yeah.
it fresh. Yeah.
And then she can even, maybe run a training for us or something, you know what I mean? Like some kind of like adopting. So have somebody do it, but knowing that we're going to have to be able to adopt the practice of upkeep.
Yeah. And we're going to have to figure out what this is going to cost us.
I think, to be honest, out of everything that we're spending money on right now, I think this is the most valuable. I think.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, we've been spending a lot of money on, I guess, what you call infrastructure.
Mhm.
And I see this as infrastructure as well.
And it's
I mean,
an important piece for sure.
Yeah.
I liked a lot of these ideas.
Oh, some great ideas.
Oh man, even like honestly, just getting on it, like half of our links are broke, and oh my gosh, and she's right. The best practice of the links, and half of them are done right, half of them aren't, and some of that is.
And who's responsible for that on our team? Is that Bill? Is that Rachel?
It just depends on how new it is. So anything in the last, like, I started building on the website in like, I don't know, 6 years ago. And then Rachel recently, but Bill does most of them. And I think some of it is, to be completely honest, Bill just did a Joomla update.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know if you've heard Rachel and I talking about how now all the back end and the developer tools and everything are kind of, they are way different, and they're like, some of the pages are broken and the links are broken because when he did the transfer, I don't think it got,
Yeah.
so I
yeah.
think that's what all the broken links are, is everything got transferred when he updated all the back end stuff, but like we haven't gone through and, or I guess I didn't realize that they didn't work anymore. So
So
that's,
I agree with you. I think we're gonna have to start from scratch, really literally build a new foundation and build a house from there, you know?
I think something, I mean, exactly, even as, and we can talk more about this. My brain is just kind of like rolling, but I think some of these things that they're saying, I think we can come up with some, like, I like the idea of a website audit, but like, I think we
Yeah.
can start, I think what we do is we build, like you're saying, so we're going to build a foundation, start from scratch, but then we can build a structure for maintenance, which is something we've never had.
Yeah.
So when I started on staff, like the website hadn't been updated in like a decade. Like it just
Wow.
it just was
That
there
was
and
what, 10 years
stagnant.
ago, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And it was just like stagnant. And I would like go through and I'd be like, well, Linda Gonzalez isn't here anymore. And this,
you hear a
we
lot of
don't need
that, yeah.
this.
How,
And
how
like,
things evolved over time.
right.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, we got to change all these. But it was just that nobody on staff knew how to maintain it. And so I had Bill teach me that, and then I was able to do some updates, right? But it just has kind of evolved over time, where I think if we have a plan for maintenance, like I was thinking, we archive all conferences past 3 years. Maybe, all advocacy information past 5 years old is no longer relevant. Like if we have like, I keep thinking functions in my head, but not like functions, but like, if we actually have like a hard way of evaluating the criteria that anybody can maintain it,
Yeah. It's sort of like, if you build a house, but you don't put money aside to maintain it, it's just not it's gonna crumble.
Right.
Eventually.
And the training portion, it's like, some of it's still good, but like some of it's like, I mean, I don't know, do we need to have trainings on,
Use of ARPA funds,
from, the use of aura funds, or like from 20 years ago talking about, core services, like, I mean, I don't know.
And I kind of, every time I go on the website, I'm seeing Billy's photo and I'm like, do we need to keep Billy's photo up there? And I'm not taking it personally at all. It's just that, I mean, he was here for so many years and has taught so many people over the years that
And that's the
I've not pushed
thing
it.
though, is, and I'm like, I think Bill is a very kind man and has done a lot for us, but it's like we've kept him on just because. And I just think if we moved somewhere completely different, we could, not that I want to see him go, but it's like for example, we haven't changed those photos because Bill's like, oh, I have to build this he has this whole specific way of building the slideshow. And it's a whole process. So we just don't do it. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I think our staff, I think Rachel or our staff could really, whatever platform, I think they would be able to I think they'd be able to figure out how to do the maintenance on it. WordPress, we had WordPress, and really the maintenance wasn't that difficult on it. You just had to, so, and I know, there are advantages of both. What's the other one? Squarespace?
There's Squarespace, there's WordPress, there's what's the one? There's like so many there, but I think those are the main ones. WordPress and Squarespace. yeah, WordPress is the one that a lot of people are moving towards, honestly. Lots of people
Yeah.
are moving towards WordPress. And I think
There
that
are just so many options on there,
mhm.
so many.
And I
maybe-
liked they all mentioned that they liked our social media presence, that it's
Yeah, that was
really
good. That was really good. I think Rachel had to feel good about that.
yeah. And a way to tie that into our website, I would agree, because that's so current and relevant, and to be
Yeah.
able to keep that. Anyways, we don't have to keep going. I have to meet with Rachel actually
Yeah.
still, but
Okay.
thanks,
Well,
Dan.
well,
Thanks
good
for being
job.
here. I think that was good.
I think well, and so we're on tomorrow.
Yep.
We have what, and I think the number we had on there was just fine, the number of people,
Mhm.
because they really could provide more in-depth
Oh
comments.
yeah. And Amy private messaged me too and said, please let me know how I can help. I'm really invested in, in supporting you guys to make this better. So
Well, maybe ask her who she's using as a web designer.
yeah, that's a good idea. And I
Yeah.
also copied and pasted who did Empowers. Designed by SCR Consulting Services is who did theirs.
Okay.
But I liked their website.
I thought it was kind of interesting when Amy was critiquing Brandon's website. I got a
I
kick
know.
out of that. But
I thought that was really funny. I know, because it is really to each their own, right?
yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Well,
cool.
so tomorrow,
Well,
same time, right?
Yep.
Okay.
See you then.
See you
All right,
there. All right.
thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.